Hey guys, thought I'd get with you today and shoot a little video on a sander I just bought. This is the Hyper Tough 2 amp quarter sheet sander, and these sell at Walmart. This little sander was $13.97. I think it was relatively inexpensive, um, and I know a lot of people probably think, wow, he buys a lot of cheap tools. Well, I do buy a lot of cheap tools. Uh, I own a lot of Hyper Tough tools, and so far, I've never had any issues with any of them. That being said, I'm just a hobbyist. Uh, I come out here and tinker around. My tools are not used harshly. They're not used for any kind of professional use whatsoever. Some of them have had more use than others. I have I'll let you look over here. I have the Hyper Tough reciprocating saw. That's a corded model, and I have used that quite extensively when we were building flower beds to cut landscape timbers, and it does a great job cutting timbers. Like I said, I've never had any issue with it whatsoever. I also have the Hyper Tough battery powered saw. Now, I've not used this a ton, but I have used it. I used it to construct my workbench I built out here the other day. And I also have a Hyper Tough jigsaw, a Hyper Tough corded drill, and I've used that corded drill quite a bit. We built rabbit hutches, and I drilled holes for that. I've used that quite a bit. The jigsaw's been used a lot. I've cut a lot of laminate flooring with that. And I also just recently purchased the Hyper Tough battery powered reciprocating saw. I also have a Hyper Tough weed eater, a Hyper Tough leaf blower, a Hyper Tough oscillating tool, which is still in the house because we've been using it to cut under door jambs for the new flooring we're installing. So that's been used a lot. The jigsaw and the oscillating tool have probably been used the most. This is the second place I've owned that I've put down flooring and used that tool, and I actually loaned it to a co-worker that I used to work with, and he also used it to put down flooring in his house. So it's went through 3 flooring jobs, and like I said, I have a Hyper Tough leaf blower. My weed eater's out in the garage, the other garage, and I also have the Hyper Tough impact drill, and I've used this ever since I got it. I've used this on several projects. Anyway, that's just kind of where I'm going at with the reason I don't mind buying these cheaper tools. They have served me quite well. So we'll unbox this and take a look at it, see what you get. So, you get a sample of some sandpaper there, probably 1 sheet or 2. Yeah, get a couple sheets. This feels like it's 60 grit, so 80 grit, and a 120. So you get 3 sheets of sandpaper with it, which is nice. This is to cut your paper with if it doesn't have holes, which I bought a pack of this Gator Value Pack quarter sheet paper, and you notice it doesn't have the holes. And really all that's used for is if you're using dust collection, it allows it to suck through the center of the holes in the sheets. So you don't have to punch it out, but if you want to, there's the tool to do that. And then in the box you have a dust collection bag. Looks to be fairly well made. It's got a rigid plastic inner liner, so I mean it's not going to collapse. Comes with the connector here. Maybe that adapts. Oh, that adapts it too. Let's check this out. Yeah, let's see. So you would use this piece if you're going to hook it to a vacuum cleaner and use dust collection that way. So it would go on. You would put this on, rotate it, and then you could put a vacuum hose on there. If you're not using dust collection, then you could simply insert your little bag like that. And I do not have dust collection, so anyway, it comes with it's a non-grounded cord, so you don't have to have the strip with the extra prong on it. Looks like about a 4 or 5 foot cord. Let's see if it says on the box. Oh, on this side. So there's what you get in the box. Quarter sheets, 6 foot cord, so it's got a 6 foot cord. So anyway, that's kind of a look at it. Oops, sorry, bumped the camera. This is kind of a rubber overmold. Of course, it's mostly plastic, as most of this stuff is. And then to insert your sheets, you just bring these out and down. And I'll show you how this works. We'll get one of these sheets that's not punched, and I'll show you how this works. And the reason I bought this is I got a little project here I'm working on, and I want to sand it before I stain it, and I'll show it to you here in a minute. So it's got several different grades. I'll probably want to start out with a heavier grade. That's 80 grit. So let's put I'll show you how you put a sheet on here. So you would stick your sheet under this lip and then rotate that down. Make sure you get it fairly straight. Doesn't have to be perfect, but and rotate that down and lock it behind. Bend your paper over, rotate it over, feed it in under this wire. Like that right there. And lock it down. I may have to tighten it up. Sorry guys, may have to tighten it up a little more on the front. I didn't feed it under there very far on the front. So, get it under there. Cinch it down. Now, to score your paper, you would simply line this up front and back and push it. And you just push that down. And then when you pull it off, your paper has the scores on it. I didn't do a very good job, but that's basically how it works. So if you don't get the ones with the holes pre-made in them, you can do that with that little tool. So anyway, guys, that's just a look at the Hyper-Tough $13 Walmart sander. Like I said, I'm working on a project over here. I'll show you what that is, and it's crude, so don't judge me, but I'm making a hat stand for my wool hats. These are some of my hats. They're dirty right now. When we moved, they got kind of jostled around course, that one I wear a lot, so it's just dirty from. So I have all my wool hats in one spot. Maybe one day I'll do a video on my hats, but this is my hat collection. So I just put the hardware on, and I'm using just coat rack hat hooks, and I got them all positioned where I want them. I'm going to take the hardware back off and sand this down real good, and either paint it or stain it. I may reshape that base a little bit. I don't know about that. So anyway, guys, that was the whole purpose for buying the sander, was to finish my hat rack there. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching the video and leaving comments, and give me a thumbs up, comment. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you guys on the next video.